special was it to get the win tonight in front of all of these guys?
It was so incredible. This is my first time and you do well, so thank you.
The cost of tickets was expensive. Nevertheless, all of the seats were sold out. Before the tournament's gates were opened, the spectators arrived. The organizers were frantically trying to find out how to deal with thousands of spectators who were unable to enter. It wasn't a Grand Slam championship. The WTA is just now beginning to realize that this was an Alex match. Given the kind of audiences Alex EA is drawing, do you believe the WTA is doing enough to promote her, or are they still unaware of the contributions she makes to the sport? Let us know in the comments.
We teased it. The Alex Eala phenomenon continues here in the SoCal desert. Let's hear from some of those local fans who are gathering around the Filipino star.
She's humble and she works hard. Yes, that's why we like her, you know, because she's the face of the Philippines.
Just aside from her talent, she's also thinking of the future.
You know, I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
So when Eala plays, we all get together and we all watch her support her as a group of people.
Are there actual like gatherings?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
We plan our dinners around that stuff.
Really? You signed up for Tennis Channel to watch her?
Yeah, because sometimes they don't show it.
So the year subscription, just in case.
The monthly.
Oh, the monthly. Okay.
Monthly, just in case she doesn't play, then we don't.
To put things in perspective, let's start with a figure. 120 millions of people. That is the Philippines' population. And that number, or at least a very loud, very passionate, very well-traveled fraction of it, shows up in person with flags, with chants, and with a kind of energy that transforms a typical third-round match at a WTA event into something more like a national sporting event than a professional tennis fixture when Alex Eala steps onto a tennis court anywhere in the world.
It is late, it is cold, but just look at how many fans have stayed out. How special was it to get the win tonight in front of all of these guys?
It was so incredible. This is my first time and you do well, so thank you. I never would have imagined this would be my debut match, with just surrounded by so much love, and I really needed to dig deep today. Diana played so well in a good most of the match, so I'm really happy with how I competed.
At the end there, it felt like it meant so much to you to get the win tonight.
Yeah, matches like this where, like I said, you really have to dig deep, means so much to me, and it's my first time here. The tournament is amazing. I'm so grateful to be here, to be playing in front of all of you, so I'm really happy I get to play another match.
Just quickly, last year you didn't even get into this event. This year you are seeded. It has been a whirlwind for you. If last year I had a conversation with you and said this is where you would be 12 months from now, would you have believed me?
I would not have believed it. It's been a crazy journey ever since then, and it's only the beginning, so I'm so excited, and I'll continue to work hard, and hopefully many more matches like this.
Give it up, guys. What a fighter.
Tickets for her Stadium 3 debut at the 2026 BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, California, were sold out. Not sold well, not exceeded expectations. Totally sold out in a competition that also includes the best women's tennis players, Coco Gauff, and Aryna Sabalenka. Eala is garnering larger audiences than those major stars throughout this 2026 season, according to observers and organizers. Not infrequently, but regularly. By the way, the comment is the kind of thing that ought to force the entire tennis establishment to get together and have a very serious discussion about how they have been handling the sport's growth strategy. Because you are losing a significant amount of money and visibility if you have a 20-year-old player who is ranked outside of the top 30, drawing larger crowds than the world #1 and multiple Grand Slam champions, and you are still scheduling her on secondary courts and treating her matches like regular fixtures.
An absolutely incredible battle that was. Thank you to all of you guys for coming out and supporting. It is now
The WTA is gradually coming to terms with this fact. Whether they're traveling quickly enough is the question. The stories that emerge from these tournaments are almost comically theatrical in the best sense, so let's discuss what the Eala effect truly looks like on the ground. 3 hours prior to the start of her match in Indian Wells, fans were spotted outside the stadium. Hours, not minutes. Before the warm-up was even over, the stands were crowded with Filipino flags and fans chanting Eala's name while sporting her products. Tennis Channel cameras captured the mood, and the video quickly went viral on social media. Commenters were truly startled by the amount of support for a player who was only in the top 30 at the moment. The same thing happened throughout the practice sessions. Eala attracts huge audiences to watch her warm up by hitting balls. While she performs workouts that most athletes perform in front of a few coaches and possibly a few interested onlookers, fans sing her name. The tournament organizers were obviously ill-prepared for the magnitude of demand surrounding her attendance. Furthermore, this phenomena is not unique to any one tournament. Earlier this season, she had a hectic schedule of matches in Dubai. Her appearances at the Australian Open were limited to standing space. The Filipino diaspora, which is dispersed throughout the United States, Europe, the Middle East, Australia, and other countries, has decided that attending Eala's performances is worth the expense of travel, tickets, and the logistical work involved in getting there on any given week. Let's now discuss the cost of the tickets, as this is what makes the tale even more amazing. These tickets are not inexpensive. One of the biggest tennis tournaments worldwide is Indian Wells. For women, it's the equivalent to a mast's 1,000. The facilities, the star power on display, and the tournament's renown are all reflected in the price. Nevertheless, a sizable number of fans are paying those costs just to watch Eala. Demand was unaffected by the high price. In certain instances, it might have led to the creation of a secondary market where people were still looking for tickets to her games even after the official supply had sold out. That's what occurs when a player establishes a connection with a fan following as strong as Eala's. Price sensitivity is eliminated. Because missing it seems like missing something important, people find a way to get there. Every match feels like a new chapter in a tale that the Filipino people has been following for years as Eala's career progresses from junior trophies to WTA breakthrough. It is worthwhile to explicitly address the parallels that are currently being made in public. Commentators claims that Eala is attracting larger crowds this season than Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka do not reflect their skill as tennis players. Gauff is a Grand Slam champion and ranked 4th in the world. Over the past few years, Sabalenka has emerged as one of the sport's most powerful players. They are both well-known, accomplished, and deserving of everything they have worked for. However, crowd size is not solely determined by ranking or music titles. It is a result of the relationship that exists between a player and a community, or between a story and those who have a personal stake in its resolution. In a sense that very few athletes have with any group anywhere in the globe, Eala has a connection to the Filipino population. Players who compete at the top of the WTA Tour have not historically come from the Philippines. The Philippines has not always had access to the infrastructure, resources, and growth pathways that generate top 30 players in well-established tennis nations. Therefore, Eala is doing more than just winning tennis matches when she rises to number 28 in the world, defeats ranked professionals in 3-set matches, and advances to the deep rounds of important events. In front of the entire globe, she is accomplishing something that people truly didn't think was possible. The crowds are the size they are because of this. Tickets sell out despite the exorbitant cost because of this. Fans fly across continents to fill stadiums at competitions in California, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates, and they arrive hours early to sing her name during practice sessions. They are not merely watching tennis. They are witnessing a person who resembles them, is from their hometown, and is competing at a level that demonstrates something significant about what is feasible make history. The analogies to Taylor Swift that have begun to surface in Eala's coverage are not as arbitrary as they might appear. Swift has amassed a devoted fan base that travels incredible distances for performances, pays top dollar without complaining, and creates an environment at events that is unmatched in the entertainment business. The Swifties, as they are called, went beyond the music itself to become a cultural phenomenon. A same idea underpins the Filipino fan community surrounding Eala. There is more to it than just tennis. It's about being a part of a movement that feels more expansive than the sport. Additionally, the WTA is still discovering out what the Eala effect means for the business of women's tennis. Much way the music industry took some time to fully comprehend and capitalize on what Swift's fan following represented financially. This is the aspect of sports that broadcasters and tournament directors occasionally overlook. The type of organic crowd energy that Eala produces cannot be produced. Better stadiums can be constructed. Investing in marketing initiatives is an option. Players can be given the largest courts and primetime scheduling. However, the circumstance where thousands of people are prepared to travel abroad, pay exorbitant fees, and sit in a sold-out stadium to watch a player compete cannot be created from nothing. That only occurs when a player has accomplished something genuine, something that resonates with people on a deeper level than rankings and statistics. A has done that, and if the WTA doesn't actively address it, they will be making a very costly error. Perhaps the most striking illustration of where this is all going is the open situation facing women in the Philippines. Before they had a full idea of what the tournament would include, tickets, music, had already sold out when the organizers started getting ready for it. In order to handle the surplus of spectators who were unable to enter the actual venue, the Philippine Sports Commission was publicly considering installing LED walls at other locations, such as a baseball field. It is unprecedented for a tennis tournament in the Philippines to require overflow viewing spaces due to ticket demand exceeding the venue's capacity. One player is to blame for the current situation. It is truly difficult to overestimate the significance of that for tennis in the Philippines and throughout Southeast Asia. Unlike football or basketball, tennis has not historically been a popular sport, music, in that area. A comparatively small group of people with the means and facilities to advance in the sport have had access to it. By competing at the top level, winning games and garnering international attention, Eala is altering people's perceptions of who can thrive in tennis. It takes decades for that kind of cultural change to develop naturally. And it's occurring in real time because one player is doing well enough to keep the whole country's attention on a California WTA Tour event. This increase in interest in tennis among Southeast Asians may be premature or unduly attributed to a single player, according to Reddit debates, social media analysis, and analysts. All of it is the sound of people attempting to make sense of something that doesn't cleanly fit into pre-existing frames. Indeed, there is just one player. Yes, whether or not this growth continues will depend on her continued success. However, it is analytically lazy to ignore the market signal since it is focused on a single athlete. Every significant growth in a sports audience throughout history began with a single player who achieved success and garnered notice. Michael Jordan and the growth of NBA viewership worldwide. Yao Ming and the sizable Chinese fanbase that the NBA has developed since his arrival. Naomi Osaka and the rise in interest in tennis in Japan. It's a well-known blueprint. Locate the player who makes a connection with a market that was previously underserved. Build around them and let the natural growth take care of the rest. For Southeast Asia, and particularly for the Philippines, EA is that player. Right now, the WTA must decide how aggressively to seize that chance. Her 2026 Indian Wells matches are yielding precisely the kind of data that ought to guide that decision. Sold-out stands, record crowds, fans paying premium fees without complaint. The demand for tickets was higher for a player rated 28th in the world than for players ranked far higher. Crowds that most players only see during real games are drawn to practice sessions. The headline WTA in shock is not an exaggeration. The sport is witnessing a development that it did not completely foresee. That is expanding more quickly than the institutional reaction can keep up with, and that its current structures were not designed to accommodate. The WTA is not being criticized by that. It describes what transpires in a sport with its own speed and procedures when a truly novel phenomenon emerges. Alex Aya isn't holding out for the establishments to catch up. She is selling out stadiums, winning games, rising in the rankings, and inspiring 120 million people to set their alarms in the middle of the night to watch tennis matches taking place throughout the globe. The results are in. There are actual crowds. All of the tickets were sold out at full price. She still has years of her best career ahead of her at just 20 years old. It's perhaps time for the WTA to move more quickly. That sums up exactly what Alex Eala is doing to the WTA and why the tennis community was actually unprepared for it. Please click the like button and share your ideas in the comments section below if you are enthusiastic about the direction her career is taking. Additionally, if you haven't already, sign up right away. Much more is on the way.